Hello there guys, it's Niran here and welcome to episode 12 of our Aston Villa career mode. Today it is time for two more Barclays Premier League games. As you can see from the calendar here, I am now only 3 Barclays Premier League games away from the January transfer window. So next episode I will be asking for your opinions on people to buy in the next transfer window. I have some positions in mind, especially after this episode I have some positions in mind. But I just need your confirmation on which players exactly to buy. So as you can see from this episode, I will be playing, well, you can't see that yet, but I will be playing two games even, and those 2 games will be against Stoke first of all, and then at home against Crystal Palace. But just here, before we get started on the games, just a look at the Barclays Premier League top goal scorers and assist makers. Gareth Bale, top of that. I don't know why he hasn't moved to Real Madrid yet. I'm not sure why. I think that was because I put the squad options as default when I started, but it shouldn't be. But anyway, he's on 14 goals ahead of Aguero. Then we've got Luis Suarez, Christian Benteke, the highest Aston Villa goal scorer, no surprise there, on 11, along with Shinji Kagawa. Then we've got Peter Crouch, Osvaldo, Anelka, Ben Rooney, Musa Sissoko, Coutinho, Gerard, Jovetic, Kone, Corrin, Young, Morrison, Dyer, Lallana, Mame Biram Diouf, Chadley, Eto'o, Stephen Pienaar, and Zoltan Gira. Sorry, I just had to pause there. He's on 3 goals. And then moving on to the assists, we've got Luis Suarez here, 3 ahead of the rest on 9. Marco Van Ginkel there as well, decently far ahead of the rest. He's on 6. We've got Danny of Liverpool, Matthew Etherington on 4, Matt Jarvis, then Victor Moses of Chelsea, Papu Cisse there. I think I said that right, Denver Papu, well, that's not even a name. Anyway, then we've got Jovetic, Hazard, Coutinho, Chadley, Carlton Cole even, Anelka, Rooney, Fletcher, Podolski, and some of the others. You can check those if you really want to have a look. Now, but moving on to the game, energy, of course, was going to be a problem because the last game we played was a midweek game. So coming into this weekend game, the energy was pretty poor. So I would have to make some changes, just a few for this game. As you can see, Ashley Westwood coming into the side there. Backley would also make way at first for Albrighton, but I think I changed that in the end. And Shay Given would also come in for Guzan, as well as Guzan, whenever he seems to go in goal, is incompetent of doing anything. Nevertheless, Given was in goal, an unchanged back 4, but Westwood coming in, and also I think, was that Bakuna? I genuinely didn't see. But nevertheless, going into this one at, well, it's not called the Britannia Stadium, it's called Forest Park Stadium, but we were away from home against Stoke, and you get the picture there. This will be a tough game. In the past, Stoke have been difficult to break down away from home, but I suppose you never know. Now, the first chance of the game, and the only chance of the first half there, fell to Marco Van Ginkel, that was stupid. The only other highlight of the game there, after Van Ginkel's shot was saved very well there by Ochoa, the new Stoke City goalkeeper, was Westwood piling into one of the Stoke players. This was a terrible first half to witness, I have to say there. Delve there, after a terrible Stoke mix-up though, getting a shot away. That was another good chance, but only in the second half. Moments later, Lopton decided it would be a good idea to square the ball there for one of the Stoke attackers. Good save, though, from Given. Just 2 minutes later, they're going up the other end. Benteke played in and decides to use his left foot. I don't know why, but the rebound comes to him. And on the volley, after Ochoa's good save in the first place, but he didn't really put it into a good area to clear the ball away. It was a pretty disgusting goal, but that did make it 1-0 after an absolutely dismal first half, which only saw 1 chance. This is pretty much summing up the game. Some great movement here from our players, really good play, but unfortunately it wouldn't actually come to anything. And this is basically what I had to deal with. This was the scenario of this game. There wasn't a huge amount to go by. Don't ask me how that was a foul. I don't know at all. Cameron Jerome there, sort of thinking about the quick free kick, but in the end leaves it to Glenn Whelan, who would pump it into the box now, into added time. It falls for Charlie Adam, and a great save there from Shay Given. Really good work there from now my #1 goalkeeper. Guzan can get the heck out of the team at some point, but from the resulting corner, Peter Crouch with an incredible header, because it was a long way. It was verging on outside of the area, but another good save from Given to keep us in the game and keep us ahead. And that is how it finished, yet another 1-0 win. We're not winning by a huge amount of goals in games this season. That's been a general trend. But looking at the ratings, Given they're getting a very good rating, as well as Van Ginkel, Agbonghor doing well as well as Westwood, Clark, Lowton, and Vla. Actually, yeah, I lied when I said unnamed, you know what? Unchanged. That's what I was trying to say, because Kieran Clark came in for Euros Akore. Nevertheless, Nathan Baker unhappy with the amount of games he was playing. I do agree with him. He's only really played in the odd Capital One Cup game and maybe come on as a substitute occasionally in Premier League games. So I do agree with him, and in the games he's played, he's generally done quite well. So I will be giving him a chance in this game against Crystal Palace. And of course, the energy was not too bad actually, because we had a 5-day break. However, going into the next game after this against Swansea, there's only a 2-game break, so that will be horrendous for energy. Nevertheless, Baker did come in for Blah. Guzan also came in, and there were a few other changes like Gary Gardner. Agbolahor came in for Benteke, and Bakuna was also brought in for Bruma. So it was a bit of an understrength team. I admit I maybe did underestimate Crystal Palace going into this game there, but Agbolahor playing in Van Ginkel in only the 3rd minute after some great work by the Dutch midfielder. Agbolahor then playing it to Bakuna and really should have done better, but a good save from Ruddy, who was clearly signed by Crystal Palace, but in the 15th minute, that happens. In all honesty, a good goal. Jason Punchin played in by, I think, Campana, the Spanish Crystal Palace midfielder. I don't know where Baker was. I don't know where Akore was, to be honest. Either Baker went forward, I don't know why. Akore was nowhere. Klein was the closest one to him, and he shouldn't have been because he's the right back. Nevertheless, that did make it 1-0. A bit of an upset, and it was against the run of play. But moments later, Agbolahor playing in Backley, and that made it 1-1. A good goal there from Zachariah Backley. Ruddy will be a little bit disappointed because he did sort of just flop before Backley, and he was just able to volley it sort of. If it had just stayed up, he would have saved it. But nevertheless, I wasn't complaining. It was quite a good move. A few over-the-top chip-through balls played, and Agbolahor getting the final assist. That did make it 1-1. That was the equalising goal. Just a few minutes later, just 5 minutes later, this first half a lot more entertaining than the one at Stoke. Sorry there, Bakuna. But a good save from Ruddy after being played through. Again there, Ruddy with a good save from Backley this time, but yet again, against the run of play, Ward with an incredible ball, I have to say, for Campagna, and Campagna blasts it home. Again, couldn't complain. I don't know where Baker was yet again. In fact, he wasn't even in the shot when it shows the replay. I really don't know where he was, but nevertheless, it was a good goal from Crystal Palace, some good play from them. Akore stepping up really when he shouldn't, and Delph, of all people, was the closest there. Guzan not really covering himself in a huge amount of glory. It was a good finish for that one, but maybe he could have done better with the punch and one. I don't know. Nevertheless, at half-time, I decided to make some changes. Benteke coming on for Bakuna in the end and pushing Agbolahor out onto the wing, and a few other and just one other change as well. Vlar on for Clark, but as you can see, that did jack crap in the end because Yannick Bolasie getting the header literally 4 minutes after half-time to make it 3-1. I was seriously embarrassed. Shamak there with the cross. Guzan decided to dive into his own net for no apparent reason. And Lowton, it changed my player just as I wanted to defend it. And would you believe it, 3 minutes later, Shamak gets the header. Guzan again deciding just to fling himself at it and hope he saved it, and in the end did nothing. And yeah, that made it 4-1 to Crystal Palace, who were 16th going into this game. And after 52 minutes, I was losing 4-1 to a newly promoted team. A good challenge there, though, from one of my defenders, and a chance from Van Ginkel a moment ago. Dickerchoy puts the ball in, and this, you know what? This completely summed up the game. Terrible defending, lucky break for Crystal Palace, although they did play well, I have to admit, and then no sort of attempt at a save from Brad Guzan. I mean, the guy is being sold in January. There is no doubt about it. Nevertheless, a consolation was then scored by Zachariah Backley, the only glimmer of hope in this entire performance, bar Gabriel Agbolahor, who also played well. So both of the wingers at the end got great ratings and, in my opinion, played well. But really, the rest of them were absolutely diabolical. Backley even had a chance to get a hat-trick, and a hat-trick of volleys, in fact, but it was a good save from John Ruddy in the end, and that was it. Utter destruction at the hands of only Crystal Palace. 2 goals from Backley, 2 goals from Shamak, a goal from Bolasie, a goal from Campagna, and a goal from Punchin. And those were the facts. Those were the match facts. Those were the statistics. We were only outplayed by possession, which is fair enough because Crystal Palace did play well in that sense. But we had 14 shots with 13 on target. They had 6, 5 on target, and scored all 5 of them. Brad Guzan will be sold in January. I don't care what... No, I was about to say I don't care what any of you say. I suppose if you really want him to stay, then he will stay, but I don't see why anyone wouldn't want him to stay at this point, because he's been playing absolutely diabolically. 4.5 rating, pretty much says it all. Good ratings, however, though, for Van Ginkel, Agbolahor, and Backley. And this was my reaction to the game. I decided, when it gave me the option to offer him a new contract, I genuinely laughed for quite a long time. So I put him on the transfer list because I don't know what to do. Whenever he plays, it just seems to end badly. But I mean, I play Given all the time, but he's retiring at the end of the season, so there's not much I can do there. So I've set my scouts out to try and go and find a new goalkeeper because I need one. And yeah, that is that. Brad Guzan has sealed his fate by playing absolutely diabolically against Crystal Palace. Nevertheless, this was a table after the episode, just to wrap things up. All three of the top three lost, so I didn't end up losing a huge amount. Liverpool lost, so they're still on 40 points. Manchester United still on 40 points, and us still on 39. We've got Spurs, who have a game in hand, on 35, out of Newcastle, Chelsea, Manchester City, West Brom, Everton, just sort of regaining a bit of form. Then we've got West Ham, Arsenal down in 11th. Shocking for them. Southampton down there in 13th. Both of our opponents in this episode, 14th and 15th there in Stoke and Crystal Palace. And in the relegation zone, Hull, Cardiff, and Sunderland there at the bottom. Pretty much a representation of real life, I suppose, apart from Cardiff being down there. But nevertheless, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Career Mode, this absolutely horrendous episode in all fairness. I suppose we won the first game, but really was a diabolical performance against Crystal Palace, mainly from our defence. Our attack played well, although Benteke didn't change much when he came on. But nevertheless, I suppose he's bound to have one bad game. We've been pretty much carried by him all season, so I suppose he's allowed one off game. Nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Like and subscribe if you did, and comment about enjoying it if you enjoyed it that much. I hope you enjoyed. Have a good day, and goodbye. I'm sorry, but you know the day's gonna go badly when you start 6th out of 5 on the grid.